time to go or no. Part 2, Part 1 down in comments below. I am not going to let her drag her feet anymore. I know I need to get this agreement into the court now because she will change her tune once reality sets in. Yes, she is maintaining the physical affair pledge. As for when he moves closer, I don't know. I do know that I have squashed his efforts to get a job here. In fact, the last department I talked to said he had already been disqualified, but my info just reinforced their decision. The way they were talking was like there was something about him they didn't like, but they couldn't elaborate. They did ask that I keep quiet about it as they had not even sent out the letter to him yet. I know from my brother-in-law's efforts to become a cop that once a few departments pass on you, that info gets passed on to any other departments you apply at and can make it impossible to get hired. That could be the case here. The last one got me thinking. Why would they disqualify him on their own? He has been a cop for 15 years and a detective for a couple as well. That would seem like a slam dunk for him to get a job. Oh well, don't care that much. If he can't get a job here and has to stay there, my STBX will have to decide whether she wants to move there to be with him or break it off. My oldest already told me that he doesn't want to move away, and if one of us did, he would stay with the other. 2 weeks later, where do I begin? We sat down and filled out the paperwork a little over a week ago. Split custody, no spousal support, but the state requires child support based on our income. She says she won't make me pay, but we all know that won't last. At least since we have 50-50 custody, I will get a residential credit for the time they spend with me that will greatly reduce that amount. We have an appointment on the 5th to sign the final documents. Then they get filed and the 90 waiting period begins. I've continued my snooping so I know what is going on. Found out that the day we filled out the paperwork she freaked out because she thought he was breaking up with her, which he may have been close. He is not comfortable know that we spend time together and we're sleeping in the same bed together. So the next day she tells me we need to be in separate rooms. I told her that we are still married, so I will continue to sleep in the master bedroom and the marital bed. If she doesn't like it, she can sleep somewhere else. She slept on the couch for a few nights and not sleeps on an air mattress in the office. The other confirmation I got though is that they have had physical affair. He was in town 2 weeks ago and she went to his hotel for a few hours. Then, after they little fight, he was in town again and she gave me this lame story about spending the night at a friend's house. I figured it was fake but just confirmed that she spent the night with him. I am thinking I will wait until the paperwork is to the court to bring it up and then kick her out. I am done. If she had honored her pledge to not take it physical until our divorce was final, I could have considered exploring a new relationship with her if she changed her mind. The divorce would have gone through no matter what and we would start at ground zero on a new relationship. He squashed that though. There is no way she can come back from this. I am done. She has also told him that she doesn't want to have to move in with him right away, but that her options are limited. She also said that she is pretty sure if she did, the boys wouldn't want to live with her, but if push comes to shove, I think she will anyway. I never would have believed it, but something in her life has to go and I think it might be the boys. True to form, she is following the script. It's really hard. She has pressed the bedroom issue several times and I have made it clear that I am not moving out. She goes out most nights with the few friends that support her or goes to her brother and sister-in-laws. Said a night she went out for a bachelor party and my 15-year-old asks me why I don't go out with my friends too. I told him that I am staying home for them. He tells me that they will be okay alone and I need to go out. He said I need to do something for me and have some time out with my friends. Then he says, it's not fair that mom keeps going out. Smart kid. He is watching all of this and she doesn't realize that she is going to lose him. It is taking every fiber of my being to not call her out on sleeping with the piece of crap. She would probably deny it, or if she did admit, she would wonder how I knew and could make it hard for me to gather more info. Not sure how to handle this. I know I shouldn't confront her on this. It is just really hard knowing. I am going to try to keep my mouth shut and just get through this. It does help me detach. I have all her deleted texts as a backup on a SD card. I am leaning toward not letting her know. The agreement we have inked is pretty good and at this point I just want it to go through smoothly. It would feel good to confront her and blow this open, but it won't get me anything in the long run. I don't feel like I am doing well emotionally. I feel like it shouldn't bother me at this point that she is having a good time with him. I knew it was coming and I know it's over and, on some level, detest her. There is still that sliver of love I've had for her that feels like a knife in my heart. She is on her way right now to sleep with him. She is driving over 300 miles round trip to see him and gave me some stupid alibi like I am a moron and can't see right through her. But I didn't let on I knew. 90-day waiting period. Since we are doing it uncontested, we just filled out the paperwork. We'll sign it, wait the 90 days, and it will be done. So yeah, I can put up with whatever to just get this favorable settlement through. I know that it would help me feel better to confront her on this, but it would be short-lived and my long-term financial well-being is more important. I have told several of my close friends and even told her dad. He will not say anything to her about it and supports me 100%. Eventually I will let her know, but not now. I think this is bothering me so much because it is another betrayal. I know, I can't trust her, but part of me really did believe that she would honor her agreement, or at least wait until the papers were filed. Oh well, live and learn. I have a strong network of close friends who are letting me vent and get the anger out. One of them brainstormed with me on how I could get back at her and other men, but in the end helped me to see that it would be nothing more than a temporary relief that would derail my long-term goal. Believe me, I have anger, hate, and contempt. I am just trying to let it out in a healthy way. I know that holding on to it is not healthy, and I also need to be careful how I let it out. I have been working out, but not as much as I should, and it does help. She has complained over the last few years that she would like me to get into better shape. I know I was not in the best shape, but she made me feel like I was a fat slob. I have lost 16 pounds since this started and am within 10 pounds of where I was when we got married, at 20 years old. I know I was not way out of shape like she made me feel, but it feels good to get back to where I was, and I know as this goes on, I will end up in the best shape of my life. I guess I should thank her for that. Although the stress diet is not the best or healthiest way to go about accomplishing this, it really does work. I am very aware of how much I went to my friends. I try not to let it dominate our time together. If we are hanging out in person, I will give them an update and vent a little, then try to move on to other things. If I am having an especially hard day, I will call them, and they know that the call is for a purpose and are more than happy to let me vent and give me advice. I know a lot of this will get much easier once she is out of the house. I also need to get another car. Her dad called me about his neighbor who is selling a pretty good, well-running car for only $500, so I am going to get that for now just to ease some of the pressure. I told her she needs to go buy it for herself, and of course she said I need to. When I asked her if she wanted to keep our car, her response was, not for the long term. I take that to mean that she is waiting for her boyfriend to buy her a new car. Until then we have to share the car, or I buy this $500 car. We got into a pretty nasty fight last night. I confronted her on her relationship with him, and she admitted they have had physical affair. So now it is in the open. I still have the bed, but she won't give up the car. But she is going to go buy the other car so I have something to drive. She swears she is not going to move in with him and that she is trying to find a job. Yeah, right. We just kept going around in circles, so we ended it, and I left for a few hours. When I came back, the boys were there, and she and I put on a good front for them. The good news is that I will soon have a car to drive, and she confirmed that she will not be sleeping at home anymore. She tried to say that the reason she moved out of the bed was because she was tired of waking up every morning being touched by me. What the hell? Our usual position for sleeping was me snuggled up behind her with my arm wrapped around her. Really, I know she is just using whatever excuse she can so that she doesn't have to admit that it was him that told her he didn't like us sleeping together. She then tells me that it was me that pushed her to sleep with him because of the way I was acting. Whatever, don't care anymore. Her level of crazy is astounding. She tried to tell me that she is the same person she has always been. So I said, interesting. So you have always been a liar and cheater, and I just didn't see it. That didn't go over well, but she didn't have any comeback for it. I know this interaction didn't accomplish much, but it did make me feel mildly better and allowed me to get a lot off my chest to her. I think we'll be able to move forward for a while without as much tension as the last week. I am doing my best to detach. Knowing they have taken it physical, as painful as it is, actually has helped. Now I have no illusion that we will get back together. I don't want her anymore. He is a scumbag, a cop scumbag. I just need their relationship to last long enough for the divorce to be final. Both the boys are staying with friends tonight, so I will have the house to myself. But last night I had a dream about it. She and I were sitting on the couch, and she said we should take advantage of the boys being gone and have a date night. It was so real that when I woke up, I had to figure out if it was a dream or not. I hope this kind of dreaming doesn't last long. About the cop, I even talked to the hiring officer for one of the departments he is applying at. She said I could report him, but since he is currently working for a small department, there is a good chance they would sweep it under the rug. All it would do is piss him off and in turn my STBX and affect my divorce. I have also talked to a couple other cops I know, and they agree that what he has done is frowned upon but wouldn't really result in anything serious. At this point I just want this to be over and get her out of my house with as little damage to me and the boys as possible. I just talked to the paralegal company about my stated income. I based it on last year's tax return, and they said I should have based it on the last 6 months. So, I sent my STBX the new figures and had her call them to change it. They said it won't affect our signing date, and it looks like it will drop about $115 a month off my payment. A day or two later, saw her this morning. We were able to be cordial and talk about some things going on with the family. I think that makes it harder on me. At least if I am angry and we hard fighting, I don't get the flood of thoughts about our past and former plans for the future. I'm sitting here at work. It is slow, so I have too much time to think about all of this. I keep getting flooded with thoughts about why I loved her and the good times we had and what we had planned for the future. I just got back from working out hoping that would help, but it didn't. I'm just feeling really depressed today. I'm not worried about my future. just profoundly sad for the loss of the life I thought I had and wanted. About the other man, she didn't lie to him. The issue is he broke up with his girlfriend, so it bothered him that she still lives with me, slept in the same bed, and that we do things together with our boys. So, he tells her all this and she moves out of the bedroom. I'm fine with that. He sounds like a controlling loser and a whiner. There are definitely some gems in the text exchanges between them, but there is one that takes the cake for me. The day after she got back from New York, I told her I was taking the car to work and would get off early so we could go to the lake. It was a nice day and I knew the boys would like it. She was complaining to him about me taking the car and how I was acting like nothing had changed. His response was, I just don't understand as a man what he's doing. I'm upset with him because I don't understand his mindset of purposely prolonging this and making you be with him even though he knows you have never loved him. Violation of man law. Violation of man law. Really? And pursuing a married woman and breaking up a family isn't a violation of man law. Then he goes on to whine about how hard it is that she can't talk or text him when I'm home. Mind you, at this point they have been talking for less than a month and he thinks she is his. There are other instances where he is just straight pouting. If he is what she wants, go for it. He is so far beneath me I shouldn't even waste my time thinking about him. I am not monitoring her anymore. I just needed to know what was going on since she still lives in my house. Now that I know, it has a bearing on how I handle things moving forward. I am done mourning and am lifting weights, hiking, golfing, going out with friends, etc. Life is looking pretty good right now. So, Friday night was interesting. She has only spent the night in my house 3 times in the last 3 weeks. So, Friday I met some friends for drinks, so she stayed home with the boys. She assumed I would be out all night and seemed concerned when she realized I would be home by midnight. She was probably trying to decide whether to stay or leave when I got home. I knew what she was thinking, so I took the key to our bedroom before I left. Sure enough, I get home and the bedroom door is locked and a note on it that says, "Please do not come in here." The light was on in the bedroom, so I knocked. No answer. I unlock the door and try to walk in and it won't budge. She had rolled up a towel and shoved it under the door to keep me from opening it. It works pretty well, but I got the door open. The light is on, a big glass of wine next to the bed, and she is passed out with her phone next to her pillow. I grab my toothbrush and change and head out to the couch, but as I lay there, I changed my mind. I went back into the bedroom, put my pillow on my side and crawl into bed. I roll onto my side with my back to her and settle in to fall asleep. She wakes up and jumps out of bed, grabs her pillow and backpack and slams the door as she leaves. Comes back in and gets a few things, slamming the door as she leaves again, gets in the car and takes off. All without saying a word. The next day we went to a co-ed baby shower for her brother and his girlfriend. Most of her family is there and a lot of old family friends. She is wearing a sundress and has a patch of skin rubbed off her shoulder about 3 inches across and a huge on the back of her leg. Real classy, as if people don't know they are battle wounds from her boyfriend. She left after they opened gifts, about 2 hours before anyone started leaving. After she left, all of her family and friends start telling me how sorry they are and hope I will stay around and coming to these events. They really like me and offered me whatever help I needed. Yesterday she went and looked at the car with her dad and decided she is going to buy a truck the lady is selling instead. So she is going to get that today. She also bought a couch set and dining set she was selling. She said she got it because it looked more manly than what we have and she thought I'd like it. She wouldn't say how much she spent and said not to worry about it. I think this is because she talked to one of our friends who told her that all of our friends are talking and think that I am going to set her up in an apartment so she can keep going to school and she is going to take advantage of me. I don't know where they got that idea from, and of course she thinks it's me talking to them, but it pissed her off. I am thinking these purchases are to prove that she isn't mooching off me and probably related to me coming down on her about how I pay for the house and the car. She can be mad all she wants, at least she is contributing. We go to sign paperwork this afternoon. I got home from work yesterday to find she had bought a truck. So now the single vehicle issue is resolved. I got changed and we went to sign the final paperwork. The papers are being sent to the court today and then the 90-day waiting period begins. I figure November 10th everything will be final. I get to claim both kids on this year's taxes, and even though I will have to file as single, I will get to claim head of household. The best news, thanks to the residential credit from the 50-50 custody, instead of over $13 per month for child support, I only have to pay $246 per month. She is still saying that I don't need to pay her, but I told her that I am going to, and if she doesn't want it, she can cash the check and give me the money back. After thinking about it though, I am going to tell her that if she doesn't want it, then she should put half into each of the boys' accounts. I'm feeling pretty good about all of this and am happy that the paperwork is processing with everything we had agreed on. I am taking some time for myself this week and am headed to San Diego with several friends to go to the Seahawks game. It will be a blast, and she is definitely jealous about me going to the game and the fact that I am going with all of our friends, which makes it a little sweeter. She does think that everyone should just be happy that she is happy and accept what she is doing. At some level she knows that there will be resistance, but she does want to be able to just plug him into my place and have everything be the same. The teenage fantasy will end soon enough once real life smacks them both upside the head. If she moves out on her own, she will have to shell out a lot to get situated. If she moves in with him, she will want to prove to him and others that she is not a mooch, so she will spend money helping him get situated. Either way, it will be gone before this relationship explodes. She is very prideful though, so maybe I won't have to deal with that. But everything else about this has been textbook, so I'm sure I won't be so lucky. I know I have said I will wait until the divorce is final, but if someone comes along, I will check her out. I won't go actively looking, but I will enjoy it if it comes my way. I won't introduce anyone to them for a long time. The boys have said they hope I find someone good and won't have a problem with me dating, but they are not going to like it when mom starts dating. Should be fun when she tries to introduce her new relationship. A week later, I had a blast. It was quite the adventure and I really like San Diego. I could see me moving down there once both the boys graduate. I did meet quite a few gorgeous women, but I'm sorry to say I did not do anything. I was there with 8 friends, several of whom are extremely attractive women, and just wasn't feeling up to picking anyone up. I was just enjoying spending time with my friends as a single person, and we didn't even talk about my life, which was refreshing. I had another friend pick me up from the airport when I got back, and he brought a friend of his. She is 19. So we grabbed a bite to eat and went home. They came in for a little while, but she was below my standards and my boys were sleeping in the other room, so I politely declined her advances. She was quite disappointed but understood me not wanting to do anything with my kids home. She texted me most of the next day and I responded a bit, but I'm hoping she just goes away. My buddy thought I'd be interested just because she is so young, but my STBX is at least an 8 and I am not going to settle for a 4 or 5 just because she is young. I spent the day downtown before the game and then stayed at my friend's house in Encinitas, 3 blocks off the beach. It was a cool town and they even have a Seahawks bar. I have several invitations to events that I hadn't accepted yet that I am now going to accept, one being a trip to Atlanta in November for the Hawks-Falcons game. She is getting what she wants now, but I know she will be jealous about my active full life. I haven't had much contact with her over the last week, but the little I have had, I can tell she is lonely. She is staying at friends' house who are out of town and I am home with the boys. She was adamant about picking me up from the airport even though I had already made arrangements with a friend. He is actually like a brother to her, grew up with her brother and has known her for 30 years. She tried to bully him out of picking me up, but he told her to back off. I still don't understand why she was so insistent on picking me up. I came home last Wednesday ready to do my laundry and pack for my trip, and she had grabbed my clothes, washed them, and they were folded on the bed. She left a note telling me she hoped I had a blast and a good flight and left her portion of the phone bill in cash so I didn't need to go to the ATM. I know, I shouldn't try to understand her actions because they are all crazy. It is almost becoming entertaining to see what she says or does now. She came home yesterday morning after I left for work and took the boys out for school clothes shopping and lunch. It is something they do every year and make a day of it. Of course, she is posting on Facebook all day about what she is doing with them and then how she is enjoying the last bit of time with them by watching a movie. Everybody knows it is me that is caring for them on a daily basis, and I'm the one that is there for them, and she knows that. So she needs to put it out there to show she is a good mom. I took advantage of the time and went golfing with a buddy of mine. I love my boys, but it sure was nice to not rush home after work. I have averaged 1 or 2 rounds of golf a year for the last 14 years because I always felt a little guilty spending the money and taking that much time for myself. Not anymore. This was my 4th round in the last 2 months, and it feels great to get out there again and improve my game. I agree that she is feeling guilt and that is motivating some of her actions toward me. She has always said that she wants to remain friends through all of this, that she still considers me one of her best friends and would hate to lose that. I don't know if she still feels that way though. She has been pretty pissed about some of the things I have done, which has just been me putting my foot down and not letting her call the shots and walk all over me. So she may not feel the same way about me. Why would she feel like I would want to remain friends with someone who has done what she has? I'm not really asking, just a rhetorical question. Oh man, this just gets better and better. I just got an email from my STBX. Apparently, my sister took it on herself to send my STBX a nice long email detailing my visit and how I broke down while telling them and outlined everything I told them. So, I get a long nasty email from my STBX. I'll give you a few of the best parts. I'm going to try to respond to her today, but the message was exceptionally long and there's a lot to cover. And as you can probably imagine, I'm pretty angry and I want to make sure I don't say anything that could hurt you. Pretty ironic considering one of the things that she said was that she knows I'm a vindictive person and she'll kick my ex if I cause drama for you. Because she knows I have that in me. Every person has it in them to be vindictive, and I think you've demonstrated that pretty well throughout this process so far. I have bent over backwards and sacrificed myself to make things as easy as possible, and take care of the things that hadn't been taken care of. I resent you playing this out to be me having had an affair on you. That is not the case despite how you may feel. I realize how destroyed you are, and because of that I was willing to take a certain amount of punishment from you. But I told you in the beginning that if you got nasty and pushed me too far, I would fight back, and I've showed you I wasn't kidding. Despite that, I still want what's best for you and for you to have a good relationship with your family. So, I would never throw you under the bus with them to defend myself. Even in your self-pitying, selective memory state of existence right now, you should be able to flash through the years of extreme hurt and abuse I've incurred from them and understand all the things I really want to say. So, I hope you can appreciate a little what I won't say. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that you wouldn't be fair to me with your family about the situation now that we're divorced. Because you never did when we were married, but I am disappointed. Yes, my family did not want me to marry her and did put her through the ringer in the beginning but eventually accepted her and loved her. You said you realize your part in all this, but you're not acting like it. I really thought we could come away from this eventually as friends, that I would never dislike you, and that we could both be mature about this. But that is not how I am feeling. I keep hoping that if I speak up and tell you what I'm feeling, you will stop, but that's not happening. I told you after the baby shower that if things aren't good between us, I don't want you around my family. But the other day you decided to take the boys to my dad's to see my aunt and uncle without me. That is not okay to me. That is not your responsibility or your right. If things were different between us right now, that would be something we could discuss ahead of time, but considering I'm not here in the evening because I don't have anywhere to sleep because you refuse to take turns in the bed and I don't want to be around you, it's not okay for you to take it upon yourself to take them to see my family. When I first got her email, I was pissed at my sister. My STBX sent me what my sister sent, and even though everything she said was spot on, I told her not to do something like that. I left a voicemail for my sister but have not talked to her yet. I am going to tell her to butt out and do not contact my STBX again and tell the rest of the family the same. It does nothing but inflame the situation and make my life more difficult. I figured those excerpts would give you all a front row seat to the delusional behavior I am facing. Not that you haven't already experienced this in your own lives. I know exactly how her mind is working though. In her mind, back on June 10th when I confronted her and she admitted her feelings and I said we should get divorced. That is the date our marriage officially ended, so she is free to do whatever she wants. That is why she doesn't think she is having an affair. It amazes me the level of twisted logic she uses to justify her actions. Her dad's brother and sister are in town from the East Coast and I have never met his brother, so we went over there last night. She stayed for a while but of course left before the night was over. The boys wanted to leave with her so she dropped them at home and I stayed to spend time with her family. We didn't talk about my divorce but her stepmom did comment on how well we were getting along and even noticed my STBX flirting with me. I can be civil for the sake of the kids and the family, but that does not mean I will be her friend, and any flirting on her part is lost on me. She will go to great lengths to keep her hooks in me, and as others said, she hates not having control of my life. And yes, Warlock, you do deserve an award. Very insightful. I told her last week that she isn't sparing me anything by not telling me when she drives over to spend time with him, as I already assume she is there as much as possible. I asked that she let me know when she goes so that I know that she won't be around for the boys. So, she tells me she will be over there all weekends. Yesterday I got a call from her that her dad wanted us to come over for a bonfire with her aunt and uncle. Of course, she can't make it, but he wants me and the boys to come over. She tells me that she doesn't want me to go since she can't. I told her that if her dad wants me and the boys there, she doesn't really have a say. She said she hopes that I will respect her wishes on this, so I tell her that if her dad calls me directly and asks me to come over with the boys, I will. She was pissed. Sure enough, her dad calls me 20 minutes later to ask that we come over. He wants his grandkids to spend as much time with his brother and sister as possible before they go home. So, I sent her a text letting her know that he called and we are going. Her response was, "Please don't talk about me at all." That is her concern, that we are going to be talking about her while she isn't there. Her dad still does not approve of her actions and their relationship is not good. My response to her is that she does not get to tell me who I can or can't spend time with. When the time comes that I am in a new relationship, I'm sure I will change how I approach my ex's family. But for now I will be there if they want me to. I do my best to shield them from this behavior. My oldest asked me where mom was last night. They notice when she is missing from family events and he asked where she was. He also said that he thinks I need to get laid because he thinks it would help take the edge off for me. I told him he may be right, but I will be waiting until the divorce is final because until that time I am still technically married. He disagrees and really thinks I should be going out and getting some, but also approves of how I am handling it. When did this kid start thinking like an adult? He really seems to be handling this quite well. Up until recently she was a really good parent. In some ways she still is, and I have to share the credit with her. We worked well together and have done a great job raising both the boys. Moving forward, however, I am definitely the positive force in their lives, and I know my influence will help guide them to be great men who will be able to learn from me and my mistakes and have healthy relationships. My comment: it's tragic, but your foolish wife just sounds like she suddenly went off the rails into crazy land. Hear similar situations all too often here on. I think our society in general has just over-romanticized commitment, marriage, and love in recent decades. Many people now think if they don't have butterfly feelings every second of every day, the love must have never been real or they have fallen out of love. It's all bullcrap from a mature perspective on life and human psychology. It's like the social standards and expectations for this part of life are being set by a bunch of neurotic and angst-ridden teenagers. Your WW was just foolish, immature enough to fall for this crap. She will regret it deeply one day, but by then her life and relationships with friends, family, and even her children will be strained at best, if not in a shamble. Part 1 down in the comments. I'm taking a quick break and I will finish the final part as soon as possible.